Hello everyone. How is everyone doing today? I'll be providing a voiceover this time around, but before I get started, let's take a moment to appreciate this beautiful radical that's about to pass me right here.
These guys are crazy though.
Yeah,
They're just running lefts like crazy.
but those cars are so fast.
Yeah.
I've drove one in Spain, and my God, just ridiculous. So here you can see that, yeah, I have my friend Robert in the car, and so we're just doing a quick little warm-up lap, and I'll actually talk a little bit more about that in the car in just a little bit. But I guess the main purpose of this lap is just to take it easy, just get everything warmed up, let everyone by. So yeah, I guess while that's happening, I'll tell you a little bit more about the car. It is a BMW E92 M3, and so this is the first session of the whole year. Didn't take it out at all last year, and this time was really to test out the new big brake kit we installed. So myself and another buddy Shane, who you'll see at the end of the lap, we installed the AP Racing 9660 calipers a few weekends ago, Pagid RS29 brake pads, and well, before I tell you a bit more, I'm taking it easy on this warm-up lap, letting everyone by. So the people I'm about to let by here, and you can see about at the 1:30 mark or so, is this Honda S2000 and this Nissan 350Z are about to pass me. So there they go, pass me about the 1:30 mark. So just keep them in mind for later on in the session, and yeah, I'll tell you a bit more about that soon. Warm up all the fluids.
Yeah.
Warm up the engine oil. Transmission fluids warm, diff fluids warm. Yeah, so there we go. I just mentioned all the different fluids I'm trying to warm up. So as you can see, I'm just in 6th gear on the back straight, taking it real easy. About to take the chicane at what looks to be about 110 kilometers an hour, not even, maybe 105 kilometers an hour. I usually take this around 120, or if I'm pushing 130 kilometers an hour. So it gives you an idea of how much slower I'm going, and I didn't even brake at all for that chicane. So usually I'll be braking down from like 220 down to 120 in order to make that turn. But in this case, yeah, just taking it easy on the warm-up lap. I think this is the first time I've ever braked on this lap. Yeah, as you can see, I'm braking a little bit there, trying to take this corner, lined up the corner quite nicely. So Bedford's kind of my go-to track. It's probably the most forgiving track around me. It's one of those tracks that's just flat with tons of runoff space. As you can see, it's basically just an old World War II airfield, so tons and tons and tons of space to run off in. Very flat circuit, very forgiving. It's one of those tracks where whenever you make a change to your car, it's kind of best to take it here and test it out first, because if something does go wrong, you have all of this space to run off to. It's not like other circuits where there's a barrier right next to you, or there's some sort of way for you to run into a ditch and total your car. Here, if you do something wrong and you run wide, I mean, you can just run off into a field, and I've actually done that a few times in this circuit. I've run off into a field and done some light damage to the car, but thankfully I haven't totaled the car. So that's kind of the nice thing about these types of circuits. What?
Didn't brake there.
Like on that lap, no, I didn't need to. Yeah, so my passenger Robert just asked me why I didn't brake on that last corner, and it's because, well, it is a warm-up lap, so I was just taking the corner so slow I didn't need to brake. Normally if I'm pushing, I would need to shave off some speed there, so I would shave off a little bit by dabbing the brake, just to get the weight transfer pushing forward, try to get more weight on the front end, and try to take that corner a bit better, but I'll show you that a bit more when I start pushing a bit more. Here you can see I'm just starting to push a little bit. I'm going to start using a bit more brakes soon. But yeah, this whole lap I'm not really shifting, I'm not really pushing the car in general. I'm really here to test out my new brake calipers and brake discs and brake pads, and just try to get more confidence with this new braking system. Historically, with these types of cars, probably their weakest point on track is the brake system. So everything about it is just kind of, leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, stock from BMW, I guess it's probably great for street use. It's probably great to stop hard once. But to be beaten around a track lap after lap after lap, you can probably do maybe 1 or maybe 2 laps of this circuit with full braking force before the brakes are basically overheating and you have to run off the track, or just try to cool the brakes through a cool down lap or something in order to even get more laps into it. But generally speaking, I've tried that a few times on this track, and I've run wide, broken my front splitter, So yeah, I wouldn't recommend like pushing on this, even this type of circuit, with more than 1 or 2 laps with the stock brake system.
Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. Definitely much easier to take those corners on the right type of racing line at those types of speeds, but once we start dialing in a bit more speed, as you can see I'm doing in here, and start using more braking force, I mean, it's definitely going to get much more difficult to hit those types of lines, but hopefully I can do it. We'll find out soon.
I usually start braking on the line 3 there.
Yeah, even then I could have braked later, but I didn't want to push it.
Yeah, so Robert drives a brand new 440i. His 440D unfortunately got stolen. He was just saying that he brakes way further than me, and so the brakes on these are definitely much improved now over stock, but even then, still trying to warm them up a little bit on this lap, so I'm still not pushing it super hard, but definitely starting to use a little bit more brake. This section here is probably my favorite section on track. It's usually just car balance the whole time. I hardly brake. In fact, I only really brake. Well, I brake for this area in the next corner, I guess, but it's mainly for balance on the car. It's not really to, you know, reduce speed in any way. Starting to go a bit faster now, catching up to this Golf, and thankfully he lets me by. You can see he's signaling to the right. That means he's moving to the right, sees me in his rear view, allows me to pass. Here we have the back chicane. So this is probably one of the slowest parts on track, and still going pretty slow, still kind of in warm-up mode. So hey, let's shift down a little bit and let's get this party started.
Too much speed.
Okay, maybe too much speed there, but that's why under normal conditions I'd probably shave off a little bit with a little bit of braking to push that front end in to get a bit more front end grip. That time I just didn't. Alright, bit more speed here, so I'm going to use more braking here.
Brakes are insane, man.
Better be.
There we go, coming out of that corner where I did some, probably almost to the limit of my braking force on this session. Just past that last corner, and to the right we have track entry, so generally just look to the right to see if any cars are entering. They aren't in this case. Here we're coming up to the first hairpin on this track. Looks like I did that just about right in terms of the line, using a bit of the runoff to the right. Now for this next chicane, a lot of people go far off to the right here. I don't really like that line. I kind of stay in the middle. I find it a bit better. Do all my braking here on this chicane, and then use the rotation I gain from that in order to modulate throttle and then accelerate out of this corner. Quite a long sweeping corner, and I believe this is the fastest corner on track right here, so getting those two right gets you a lot of speed into here. As we can see, this driver noticed me up behind him, signals to the right for me to overtake. I generally wouldn't overtake mid-corner like that, it's a bit unsafe, but he let me by, so I guess I took it. I normally overtake about here where it's a bit more of a straightaway, but whatever. Braking hard into this corner, and as you can see, I'm not pushing it too hard because I'm still maintaining my line pretty well.
That guy was a bit dangerous there.
Yeah. Didn't expect you to overtake.
Yeah, as Robert said, I wasn't really expecting to overtake him there. But anyway, getting some speed on this back straight, so getting up to what looks to be almost 240 kilometers an hour. It's at 230 kilometers an hour, braking hard into the chicane, dropping down to, what is that, 115-ish kilometers an hour through that chicane, and then maintaining speed through this back straight, getting up to, what, 220, 230-ish kilometers an hour, braking hard into this corner. Let's see if I maintain my line. A bit too early on the apex there, but not too terrible. Maybe scrubbed off a bit too much speed, but that's fine. This sector here is probably one of my favorite sectors, and you can see just the sheer grip with this MCS 2A adjustable remote reservoir suspension, 18x10 8008R tires. It really provides a lot of grip, so caught up to this 996 Porsche quite easily. I guess they're going to let me by shortly. Oh, no, they don't let me by. Alright. I guess he sees me put my hand up, then signals, but it's at a point it's far too late. Yeah, so he slowed down a little bit, but he didn't put his signal on, so I didn't really know if he wanted me to pass or if he saw me or not. It's quite dangerous to pass without the signal on. Otherwise, you don't know if they're going to make a sudden move or not. So generally speaking, when you're on track like this, it's much better to signal and then pass. So here we see I got quite a bit of speed on him through the corners, actually holding me up. So there he moved over to the right, didn't signal again, but that's fine. So here I am on the back straight, getting some speed, and then probably do a heavy braking zone at the second braking marker there. Heavy braking into this corner. This is again probably one of my favorite sections on track. Just you can hold a lot of speed through those corners and don't really need to brake too much. Generally just need a brake to maintain balance, a bit more grip on the front end, but you don't really need to brake a whole lot there. So I do very much enjoy corners like that. Alright, well, here we are coming back up to the very first hairpin on track.
A gear shift.
What type of gear shift was that? Come on. Well, I guess that just shows you all that I wasn't really pushing too hard at all on this. I wasn't really focusing on shifting gears at all. I was just focusing on brake zones and lines and getting my entry speeds correct, just testing out these new calipers, you know, that type of thing. So here I am behind this Civic. So they're probably going to be a bit safer. I guess they moved to the left, but critically on a straightaway, and so you can see now that I'm starting to approach, that was actually a terrible line there, but I'm starting to approach that Honda S2000 who's just ahead of me, so the one that I pointed out back at the 1:30 mark. So I've definitely been gaining on him. If he's kind of passed me at 1:30 and it's now 11:30 in this video, you can see that I'm definitely gaining on him. So there he is on the straight. Again, not really worrying about shifting at all, so I didn't really shift into corners or anything. He's probably giving it. You can see that he's likely shifting and, you know, trying to brake and trying to corner to the maximum potential of his car. But even then, the brakes on this car are now so much larger than whatever he could be running on that I highly doubt he's going to outbrake me, and I highly doubt he has more power, and I also highly doubt that he has more suspension. So as you can see here at the end of the straight, again, not shifting at all, I've gained up all of that space on him just really under braking. Well, okay, maybe I carried a bit too much speed there, so ran a little bit wide, but that's fine. So as you can see, he's shifted and he's now accelerating. I haven't bothered shifting at all. Through this section, I'd say I'm gaining on him a little bit there, but he had a bit more space ahead of me. He's braking there. I don't brake really there at all. And he's now holding me up quite a bit, so I'm right behind him now, and that's far slower than I usually take this corner. So alright, so he's probably seen me well behind him now, and so he can pretty easily give me some space, but no, he chose to shift and chose to accelerate into this hairpin. And as you can see, he's holding me up quite a bit here. I mean, I would normally not brake anywhere near as that hard there, and I mean, if I was pushing it, I'd be shifting as well. So as you can see, he's definitely shifting because he's definitely trying to pull away. But this guy wants to race. He's not giving me space again now. So I mean, alright, if he wants to race, then let's race, buddy. Alright, I'll shift. And as you can see, I'm gaining on him under acceleration. I'm gaining on him under braking. I'm likely going to gain on him again under cornering. So here I am right on his back, just trying to get this guy to move. And I am gaining on him under cornering as well. I'm gaining on him in every single way, but this guy will not move. He just sticks ahead of me. So I guess if that's what he wants, if he wants to race, then let's race, buddy. So here we go. Coming into the main corner, I'm just like, this guy's holding me up for half a lap already. Again, gaining on him under braking. I don't know what this guy is trying to do. Alright, but I'll shift, I'll play a little bit. Alright. So he probably heel-toe downshifted into that corner. I'm giving him a little space because he is driving like a complete idiot. So here we go. I'm out-braking him again. I'll likely out-corner him again, but as you can see, there's some slow traffic up ahead. So he is slowed down. He's moving. I'm just going to undertake him. I don't really care. If he's going to hold me up like that, I mean, he can get behind me one way or another. So here we can see he's in my rear view now. So you can kind of see the space that he has there in my rear view. And I'm just going to brake, I'm going to corner, and you can see he's behind me. And now if you were to keep watching my rear view, you'll see that he is likely going to be even further behind me in just a minute. So what I'm trying to say is that if you do see a car, if you on track and you see a car in your rear view and they're behind you in any way, the fact that they got to be behind you likely means that they're faster than you, and general track etiquette means that you should let them by. If you don't let them by, then it just starts getting dangerous. You start requiring to do maneuvers like I just did, where I undertook him or dive bombed him. So I mean, like when you get into doing maneuvers like that, it's just unsafe for everyone on track. There's a chance there that he could have moved to the right and then totaled both cars. The guy overall was just driving like a complete and utter idiot. And yeah, so don't do that on track. So here we're coming up to slower traffic again. The K-trim signals to the right is letting me know that he sees me. This Mini must have seen me but didn't signal. That was very dangerous there because he slowed down entirely, and I was actually planning on slowing down behind him. I wasn't expecting for him to move over like that. So again, generally speaking, you want to make sure that you're signaling when you see someone behind you and you're moving out of the way. So here we're coming up to my buddy Shane, who's in the MX-5 just ahead of us. I've come to this track maybe, 3 times with him now, so he's still just kind of learning how to drive on the track and kind of how to get used to the cornering speeds and etc., etc. He's made a ton of progress, and he's put on some new tires and new brake fluid on that car as well. So here you can see he's able to take that corner and that line quite nicely there. So give him a little wave, tell him hello, tell him I see him. Giving this corner here quite a good line as well in that MX-5, so he's getting ready to kind of accelerate out of that corner. He gives me a wave, I give him a wave, and yeah, as you can see, what he did was bang on perfect. He saw faster traffic behind him, he didn't do anything dangerous through the corners, he waited for the straightaway, he signaled to the right, and when it was safe for everyone, I was able to very nicely and very safely overtake him. That's exactly what you should do when you see faster traffic behind you. Well, anyway, that was a few laps of Bedford. Hope you enjoyed watching myself and my friend Robert drive around this E92 M3. Definitely a good chunk of work done on this car, so it is quite fast through the corners and under braking, etc., etc. That being said, it is certainly quite a heavy car. I think my next mod on this will probably be to add the same type of big brake kit on the rear, and so tune in for that next time.
Braking like this because I see everybody even like looking.
Nobody does.
Yeah, everybody